that your love never did before.
And welcome into the show. Good afternoon. Thanks for checking us out today as you get to hear some of South Carolina's own Marvin Cease, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, not only is he a candy licker, he is also a ghetto man. Go and find his stuff. He is absolutely hilarious. And of course, he's dead. So you can't go and meet him, but he is from South Carolina, one of the beacons for our state. Man did an 11-minute song on oral sex. How can you not like that guy? Anyway, my name is Rob Sanders. I'm on Twitter at Rob Sounds Good. Thank you for stopping in and making me a part of your afternoon. If you would like to join the program, very simple. We are going to open up the phone lines at 803-470-2905, 803-470-2905. You know, I ask people to support the show. There's the PayPal link, the Cash App link, the Venmo, all that. Now, here's the thing, though. It doesn't cost you a damn dime to share this show or to share any of the videos that Carolina Jackpot puts out there, who is, by the way, the best damn Gamecock YouTuber on the planet. Doesn't cost you anything to hit the like button. Doesn't cost anything for you to subscribe. Absolutely nothing. You just click it. Now, I've heard, especially in the comment section, some of the Gamecock fans don't like me, and I'm sorry. Sorry if I've hurt your feelings so much. But that's okay, though. I can deal with that. But it doesn't cost you anything to subscribe. Do that, okay? Very simple. As we try to get our audience a little bit bigger for football season. All right, so let's get right into it. 803-470-2905 if you want to join the show. 247 Sports put out something today. Oh, by the way, I forgot. The Calloway's Pick'em Challenge is up and running. Go to the link. It's in the description right there. $20. You send it to Carolina Jackpot. We start picking games. You got 11, 12 weeks of games, whatever it is. The end of 12 weeks, whoever has the most correct picks against the spread wins the whole damn pot. Thanks to Calloway's for sponsoring that. All right, so 247 Sports put this out today, and it talked about 9 potential upsets that they're going to be keeping an eye on. Okay. So some of these are hard for me to get into because we've talked about this before. I believe that college football is a Southern sport, and it's hard for me to sit here and talk to you about games either in the Children of the Corn land or out on the West Coast where they're more interested in other things besides football. But I will read some of these for you. Fresno State at Southern Cal. Here's why I would like to see that as a as I just blew something on my mic popping thing here. I would like to see that upset simply because I don't like Lincoln Riley. I think Lincoln Riley is an asshole, and it would be funny to watch all these new Southern Cal fans that are showing up on my Twitter feed and all that shutting the hell up. Number 8 is Louisville at Clemson. Now, here's the thing. It's kind of hard for me to be completely unbiased in this. It's interesting that they throw this into the mix. But if you look at it from just, let's say, ESPN's FPI, it's like Clemson's got a 96% chance of winning this game. So I don't think that, Clemson's got a 38-game winning streak at home. I don't think Louisville's going to be the team to beat them. I mean, I could buy Miami. Hell, I could buy Florida State, but I just can't buy Louisville. Curry's Visor says West Coasters are more interested in riots and grooming children than college football. There might be some validity to that. Michigan at Iowa. And it says, would anybody be shocked if the defending Big Ten champions traveled to Iowa City and took a loss at the hands of the Hawkeyes? No, because the Big Ten is shit, and I just don't. I mean, it's hard for me to care about the Big Ten. Someone please tell me why I should care about the Big Ten. I mean, I'm waiting for that. Rick Sanchez says, will Carolina Jackpot be reacting to Carolina losing to Clemson this year? Probably. Probably. They've got Ohio State at Penn State. Penn State, here's the thing. Penn State, if you really stop and look at it, and people are going to get pissed when I say this, all right? But I half expect Peg and Megan to be coming up in here talking about how Penn State's the greatest thing ever because they're a carbon copy of Texas A&M. They've got a coach that's gone in there that had success at other spots. Yes, I know Franklin didn't win a national title, but he was at Vanderbilt, and he made Vanderbilt somewhat viable. Okay? He goes up there. They have great recruiting classes, just like they do at Texas A&M. But in reality, they're paying him a shit ton of money, just like A&M is paying Jimbo Fisher, and they're not getting much out of it. He is the Big Ten version of Texas A&M. That's what Penn State is. I don't see Ohio State losing to them, but then again, I don't really follow Big Ten football. It's Children of the Corn football. So there's that. NC State at East Carolina. Now, here's the reason that this might be interesting. ECU has beaten NC State each of their past two meetings at Dowdy Ficklin. The line right now is under 10 points. So Las Vegas knows something. Could they get a pick six and make it close? Dave Doran would piss himself if they lost to East Carolina. But I still think East Carolina goes home with the win. This one I think is going to happen, and to be honest, I don't think it's an upset. Texas A&M playing at Mississippi State. I think Texas A&M is going to go in as a favorite, and I think Mississippi State is going to hand them their ass and send them back to La La Land. So that's just it. They get them the week before they play Alabama. So Texas A&M, you think they're not going to be kind of looking ahead? That's definitely the kind of letdown game there. Between Arkansas and Alabama, they've got Mississippi State on the road. There are very few teams that I am openly cheering for this season in a game, but I want Mississippi State to slap Jimbo Fisher around, and I want him to have to go to that press conference as they get ready for the Alabama game and talk about how the Pirate beat his ass like he stole something. And I want the Pirate to run it up. I'm talking like if he can get a 17 points on them, the Texas A&M fans need to shut the hell up too. They're in that case with me right now. They're insane. Oklahoma at Nebraska. Look, Scott Frost, I think, is on his way out unless he gets some wins. I think the Oklahoma game, if he can win that, might buy him another year at Nebraska because right now they're not very happy with him. I know people were talking about them being, the best 3-7 team in the country or some ridiculous number about that. I don't know about all that. But can Brent Venables get his wheels rolling there? Now, some people don't want to hear this too on the Clemson side of things. Dabo Swinney's coaching tree is shits. That's the only it doesn't even get the. It's just shits. Chad Morris, terrible. Jeff Scott, terrible. I think Chad Morris won, 4 games at Arkansas? Something like that. It's a mess. All right. Brent Venables hoping to be that guy. Same thing for Tony Elliott at Virginia. But we'll see on that front. Number 2. God damn it. Here we go. Do I even have to read this? Tennessee at Georgia. Oh, but hold on. Let me address Jay really quick here. Dabo is a crappy coach. Maybe Dabo's actually the one that's coaching, and they're just using those guys as administrative roles. Try to keep up, Jay. Stop sniffing the glue and hold it down, all right? Anyway, Tennessee at Georgia. The write-up on this, and I'm going to read it because it's kind of funny. Georgia's best has beaten Tennessee's best each of the past 5 seasons, and none of those games have been all that competitive, with the Bulldogs winning by an average of 28.6 points per game. That's partly why no one will see a fourth quarter clash coming when this matchup's played in November, just after Georgia exhausts all of its emotional buildup during a win over Florida in Jacksonville. It would have been more beneficial for the Volunteers to battle Kirby Smart's new look defense early in the season, considering a wealth of new starters will have ample game experience by this point, but it's not going to make defending Hendon Hooker and the Volunteers passing game any easier. Georgia may not lose a regular season game this fall, but there's a possibility of a competitive matchup late. This is one of the few. Jay, if you want to place a wager that Clemson loses 4 games, get in my DMs, sir. All right? If you want to do all that, you got nothing. You got nothing to stand on with all that. You don't truly believe they're losing 4 games. If you do, you really are sniffing paint. Alabama at Arkansas is number 1 on the list. Ugh. Okay. Of all of those, the one that I could foresee happening the most, I would go with Nebraska winning over Oklahoma and Mississippi State winning over Texas A&M. Greg McElroy says the Vols offense is unstoppable. Is that true? Okay. Well, good for him. Good for him, sir. I'm a painter. It's my job, sir. I'm not bashing what you do. You don't have to get in there and drink the thinner, though. You're one of those guys that drinks that lacquer thinner, right? Yeah. All right. 803 470 2905. 803 470 2905. That's the number to dial if you'd like to join us on the program this afternoon, as those upsets are there in the mix. 803 470 2905. Biscuit's got a good point. I think he's referring to the Tennessee offense. Yeah, except against good teams. Lane Kiffin showed you how to beat them last year. It's very simple. Run the ball, control the clock, keep them off the field. Keep the offense off the field, you win. That's how you do it. Tennessee hasn't shown the capability they're going to stop the run, so that's how you beat them right now. Even the most ardent Tennessee fan will tell you that. If you run the ball, Hendon Hooker can't get out there. Rick says Dabo couldn't coach himself out of a wet paper bag. Well, he's got 2 national titles. Sorry if that hurts your feelings there, Rick. And Block Mustard says the biscuit. Yeah, that's true. Papa B says, don't sleep on Dabo. He still uses red shirts and the weight room to develop his players. People that throw rocks at Dabo Sweeney are generally from teams that wish that they could have the success that Dabo Sweeney has. And by the way, South Carolina fans, Shane Beamer is a younger version of Dabo Sweeney. Shane Beamer wants to be Dabo Sweeney. If that hurts your feelings, I'm sorry. You went and got basically what some people think is a wish list version of Dabo Sweeney and hope that he develops. That's what you've got. Yeah, he won 7 games. I think he's going to be good. He's got the right mentality. 803 470 2905. Stephen A says he's thinking Michigan upsets Ohio State again this year. You're assuming he'll be favored. Terry says Beamer wants to be that, but he doesn't have that swag. Jay with more horse shit. Jay ate the paint chips today and drank the lacquer thinner. Known fact. All right. First of all, when you say known fact, please tell me how this is a known fact. Who made up this fact? Was it Bulldog Shit Whore Weekly? Is that who you're citing here, sir? So until then, I'm just going to assume, since Jay makes up things, that he gets his information from Bulldog Shit Whore Weekly. Bulldog Shit Whore Weekly reports everyone around Clemson's coaching staff left because Dabo's brother was watching kiddie porn on Clemson Wi-Fi. Disgusting program, trash, sir. All right. First of all, Bulldog Shit Whore Weekly probably doesn't have anything involving any kind of proof of that. If there were proof of that, it would already be out there. These cocksuckers in Columbia would be trying to label all of that up quickly. The ones that walk into the press box up there at Williams-Brice Stadium and they jerk themselves off hoping to get wins, they'd be all over that. Same thing would go for Clemson fans if it were the same thing down at South Carolina. But I will not sit here and let Jay bring us the headlines from Bulldog Shit Whore Weekly, showing that they don't really know shit. If you look at the guys that left, Brent Venables was a defensive coordinator at Oklahoma, and he left to go back there and got, I think, 6 times what he was making, something along those lines. I thought 4 or 6 times. Yeah, turned down that job. And Tony Elliott left to take a head coaching job at a Power 5 school. I don't know what you want. Don't know what you want. Stephen A has got a point. Having a shitty brother isn't a crime. Papa B says, don't lump all the Bulldogs into one. I don't know what's sick. If I said something that's sick, I apologize to you, Captain Trips. 803-470-2905. 803-470-2905. Nick says, as a Clemson fan, you can't talk about jerking off. Y'all are known for having the most famous jerk off in college football. I've got if that's a response to Deshaun Watson, I'm laughing. If it's a response to Dabo Sweeney, you're part of the uninformed. The Biscuit says Bulldog Shithore Weekly is a reputable paper that's been around since before the Wall Street Journal, sir. You know what? It might be more valid than some of the stuff the Wall Street Journal puts out there. Might be. 803-470-2905. 803-470-2905. Papa B says Virginia might be a surprise this year. We shall see. We shall see. I don't know. They're Super Bowl every year, and I thought they were doing pretty well with Bronco Mendenhall. But Bronco Mendenhall, maybe there was something behind the scenes, and he's like, "Yeah, I gotta go." Who knows at this point? 803-470-2905. 803-470-2905. God damn it, Biscuit. It merged with the Dog Balls Herald. Oh, hell.
I don't know shit about fuck.
Exactly. 803-470-2905. 803-470-2905. If you would like to join the show. Sir Uga, I don't know what that means, is where is Crackpot today? If you're talking about Carolina Jackpot, he is working today. He's making the world a better place. Anyway, we'll take your calls today on your upsets that you think are coming this year. I think that from what I see, if I had to pick an upset, I think Vanderbilt wins one SEC game. Don't know which one, but I think they win one. They might beat Mizzou. I think Vanderbilt, the early lines have Vanderbilt as an underdog in every SEC game. Sir Uga says Pitt beats UT and West Virginia. Look, I don't think that Pitt is going to be, if it's within a touchdown, they're not going to be a touchdown underdog at home. All right. The lines are set in Las Vegas, not in Knoxville. Okay. That'll be between a 3 to 5 point spread either way. Twisted Chicken says Vandy beating the Vols. Arkansas over the Gumps. That was in the original pick there. I'll take LSU over Bama before Ole Miss. SEC Dog says Vandy might beat Tennessee. I don't know. I don't know if that's going to happen or not. But personally, my big thing with as for it to be an upset, I mean, I think a team has to be favored by more than 10 points. Is that game at Vanderbilt, by the way? I don't know. Jay says he wants Miami over A&M bad. Yeah, that would be great too. That would be great too. But I think that on the upset front, it's got to be by you got to be a 10-point dog or more, or a 7-point dog on the road. That's kind of there too. Biscuit says I don't want OOC teams beating SEC teams. Come on, Biscuit, you're smarter than that. Sir Uga says LSU beats UT. How is UT favored by 4 in Baton Rouge? I don't know. Brandon says maybe Tennessee. Vandy has beat Tennessee 4 or 5 times in the last decade. Everyone's beat Tennessee. They're like a doorknob. Everyone's gotten a turn. Jetmech with a good question. Is there any chance of Georgia losing an SEC game this year in the regular season? So I have to look. I can't remember Georgia's their West opponent. Who is Georgia's West opponent this year? Somebody help me with that. That no one from the East is beating them. There's not a team in the East that'll get within 10 points of them. All right. I'd have to look at their Western schedule. I think they've got Auburn. They're 10 points better than Auburn. And Mississippi State might give them a shot. Is it at Mississippi State or is it in Georgia? Help me with that, you Georgia fans over there. Oh, it's in Starkville? I think Mississippi State's got a better chance of beating A&M than they have of beating Georgia. So there's that. I think Georgia's just too stacked. I mean, they've got too many guys coming back. I know they got 7 guys that got drafted, and I know people, they lost so much. I think there are people that are people give a lot of shit to Stetson Bennett, but the guy's won a national title. But I also think that the coaches know that he's better than everybody that they've got out there. You would think. I mean, are we going to sit here and question the national championship winning coach? I think that's kind of stupid, right? Just saying. 803-470-2905. Jetmec says, only if it's one of those Jefferson Pilot 10 a.m. kickoffs could Georgia get upset at Moose State. Yeah, that's true. Stephen A. says, it's kind of odd. Preseason Orgeron LSU team last year felt like it had a higher expectation than Kelly's LSU team this year. Yeah, they were ranked last year in the coaches poll. They're not ranked this year. Kind of weird, right? Normally you've got them in the mix. They're not quite there. Papa B says Mississippi State fans will be happy with a close game versus Georgia. But you know what? They'd be more happy if they got a win. Now, it is hard. SEC Dogs, right. It's hard to go 12-0 2 years in a row. You could drop a game. Georgia fans, if you're honest, and you're like SEC Dog up there, you can go in with the mentality of, hey, we may drop a game somewhere. You just hope it's not the Florida game. You don't want that on your conscience. Holy shit. I'd rather go lose on the road at Mississippi State and have that be their, hey, it was a tough loss. We bounce back from it and then roll through, go to the SEC championship game, beat whoever the West sends over there, and then no one will remember that. No one will remember that season. Won't happen. Sir Uga says he thinks UGA could easily lose a game this season. Let's isolate that for a second. Let's take the West games out of it. Auburn and Mississippi State. If you had to pick a team from the East to beat them, do you go with old blood and guts Kentucky, where they're going to try to have just enough offense to beat you and hope they hit you in the mouth enough with their defense? Or do you go with the gimmick and go with Tennessee? And Hendon Hooker has a day where he ends up putting on a highlight reel package against that Georgia defense. Not saying it's going to happen. Not saying it's going to happen. But on the other end, could you look at South Carolina and say, all right, week 3 of the season, go into that game. Maybe you're banged up from week 1 and 2. Who knows at this point? But from the East, man, I think that Georgia's 10 points better than everybody. I really, really do. And until they prove me wrong, we'll go from there. Jay says UGA figured out the gimmick in 3 minutes last year. That's a good point. Look, playing down at Williams-Brice Stadium is tough. In addition to people fucking in the parking lots and fighting and everything else, you've got that horrible rooster crowing sound, the techno music that they play, and they have 80,000 fans that have lost their shit. So, yeah, it's a very tough place to play. I'll give you that. 803-470-2905. Kirby's buys. I say something nice, and he's like, dogs, double-digit favorites. Tell me why I shouldn't believe that. Jay looks like one of those guys. He'd go into a bar, and he doesn't want to go in unless if there's blood on the floor, he's not impressed. He wants blood on the ceiling. Biscuit says it'll be tougher if they beat Arkansas. You know, that's something else, too. We're kind of being pushed that Arkansas is great, but in the end, they lost their wide receiver that was their big guy. And Burks, Treylon Burks, I believe was his name. He was kind of their whole offense last year, right? They talk about Barry Odom's defense down there and how that's great. I don't know. South Carolina wants to make a statement early. I think if we all just like if you looked at the Las Vegas line, South Carolina is the first 3 games, they're projected to go 1 and 2. But if they want to make noise early, and that's why people that mock Spencer Rattler just a little bit, oh, he's got this and he's got that. Spencer Rattler, I'm pretty sure someone has gotten to him and said, you know what? You are eligible to go to the NFL next year. You've got to play 12 games. I think he's going to focus on this and act like the absolute best player that he could possibly be. And he may go out there and throw his ass off, hoping to get South Carolina to 8 to 9 wins to get them into a good spot. I don't think he plays in a bowl game. Calling that now on August the 9th. He probably will not play in a bowl game. His last game in a Gamecock uniform, unless an injury, will be the matchup at Clemson. So, yeah. Twisted Chicken says Arkansas can't look ahead because Cincinnati will beat that ass. Cincinnati lost a lot too. But we'll see. All right, 803-470-2905. As far as upsets go, I think Vanderbilt wins one SEC game. I think LSU, they're going to get somebody that they're not supposed to. They got too much talent left over down there. We'll see about that. The Arkansas Fighting Walmarts. Brandon says, what if South Carolina makes it to the playoff? Rattler might play then. You know, that's interesting. I don't know. We'll see. Sir Uga says Vandy beats Missouri. Wouldn't be surprised. Jay says, why does Dabo not let recruits visit other campuses after the recruits give Dabo a lap dance? Once again, another quote from Bulldog Shithore Weekly. Somebody needs to send Jay some good stuff there. Jay probably lives like in a more hick town than fucking Starkville. Starkville looks like Las Vegas to Jay, I'm sure. Just saying. By the way, there's going to be players that don't play in the college football playoff. That's going to happen too. You think that's not coming down the road? I think that's going to happen quick. Someone's going to I got my tampon string caught up on my toenail and I can't play. Just saying. That's what's going to happen, I think, eventually. 803-470-2905, 803-470-2905. If you'd like to join the program today with your biggest upsets, we'll take those. I think Vanderbilt wins a conference game this year. Don't know who it's going to be. Don't know who it's going to be, but they may get somebody. In the ACC, I think Duke wins 2 conference games. Yep. Think that's going to happen there too. 803-470-2905. What's up, Jason? Papa B says Rattler would play in the Sugar Bowl just like Matt Corral. Maybe. We'll see. Jetmex says he agrees the semifinals are huge blowouts. Players will opt out eventually. Papa B says Rattler would not play in the Liberty or Music City Bowl. No, look, the idea of South Carolina going to the playoffs, hell, they're the last time they won 9 games, I mean, look at what happened. Florida was the shits, Auburn was the shits, and they still won 9 games. They beat Michigan in a bowl game. Everybody's looking at Will Muschamp like he's the greatest fucking coach in the history of time. Yeah, there's a way for the world to spin off of its axis. Let's just be honest. Daddy-O says, how many snaps does Hunter Johnson take this fall? That's a good question there, Daddy-O. You would like to think, if you're a Clemson fan, that he'll take quite a few snaps this fall because Clemson will blow a lot of people out and they don't want Klubnik getting hurt. And he'll go in and take a bunch of snaps in mop-up duty and hand the ball off to people. So there's that. The realist says he probably won't see the field much. The Clemson offense, I don't think is right now. I mean, there are so many questions with them, man. So many questions. All right, 803-470-2905. Final call for calls this afternoon. If you would like to chip in some cash here for my golf event I'm going to on, hello, son.
The batteries.
I don't have any batteries. Parenting break. Grandma's got some. You get some when she gets home. Yeah, you can go to her house in a little bit. Anyway, yeah, I'm having a golf outing on Friday. If you would like to contribute to that, pay for golf balls, green fees, etc., and you like the show, there it is for you. Rose Sanders 1979, gmail.com. Cash out Rob Radio 1. Oh, someone sent me an email yesterday. Someone sent me an email. Thought I would read it to you guys. It was from, which by the way, you can email me too. Some people do that. Rose Sanders 1979 at gmail.com. Be sure to send me an email there. Let's see here. I got this email from, this is a lot of emails ago yesterday. This is from Rick. Rick says, I always watch your show. Sorry I haven't interacted with you, but you are spot on most of the time. I'm a Clemson Tiger homer, and I just wanted to give you my thoughts on our Tigers. We were last in the ACC on major offensive production. Yeah, you were kind of last in the country. I mean, hate to be that way. We're last in we're number 4 in all of the polls coming into this season. What really does that say about our defense and the coaches? Strong brother. Yeah, there were a lot of things about that team that weren't didn't really balance out. Uiagalelei threw for nine touchdowns. 9 touchdowns. Wow, when you think about that. Biscuit says Clowney hitting that running back in the Michigan game was the funniest hit in the history of college football. He looked like an exploding Lego. If you watch that play in slow motion, Clowney made a hell of a play, but he shot right up the middle there and wasn't even touched. And I think the best part is that after he decapitated the guy, he had the idea to, hey, I'm going to pick up the football. Yeah, it was pretty impressive. Yeah, it was a great play. Jay says, Rob, will you support Clemson if it turns out they're exposed like Penn State? I don't support anything that goes like that, brother. I don't know why you want to be that way, man, and make comments like that. You're using what happened over a 35-year period of a guy molesting folks in a shower to try to one-up me on the show. Come on, Jay. You're better than that. Just go back to Bulldog Shit Horror Weekly. Just read some of that. 803-470-2905. Appreciate you guys, as always, checking out the show. Of course, we appreciate it. Jackpot and I will be back at it on tomorrow night. I'll do a show tomorrow afternoon as well. Would appreciate you guys checking us out then. There's been some different stuff coming out of camps. I'll try to get into some of that tomorrow. You don't really know what you got until you see some of this stuff in camp, which is kind of neat. Kind of neat. All right. Anyway, I appreciate you guys checking out the show. Oh, we'll take SEC Dogs question. Do you think DJ will be shelved before October, or has he miraculously improved? Here's the thing with Uiagalelei. He lost a lot of weight, like 40 pounds. He looks a lot slimmer. He looks like he's in a lot better shape. Maybe he'll have the ability to run around a little bit. It's not been a question of his arm strength. He's just not accurate. All right. He doesn't really make good decisions. Okay. Can he fix that in one off season? And I know people are going to tell you, look, let me give you the list of Clemson excuses for this guy. He had issues at home. His parents got divorced, and that was something that may have hindered him on the field. He was playing with a broken something or another in his thumb. He was he had issues with his footwork, and his feet were messed up, and his knee was messed up. I mean, just so many things that were bugging him. And I think to overcome all of that, you may be like what Nick said. You need a sports psychologist. You may need a sports psychologist. It's the way that it is. I mean, I don't know. I do think that if it comes down to it, Dabo Swinney would have to make a change, because I think the Clemson defense is going to be that good. I really, really do think the Clemson defense is going to be that good. And he can't look that defense in the eye and keep sending out a guy that only threw for 90 yards against South Carolina last year. And South Carolina, to be honest, they weren't really playing with all SEC talent there, but they played hard. And yeah, they lost that game 30-0. But if you watch it, it wasn't really the defense's fault. The offense put them into shithole positions all night, and he still only threw for 90 yards. But he has to get over this.
He's some slapdick from East Aboga, right, community college.
Yeah. He can't play like that. That's why I think it's 3 games. 3 games. And if he hasn't put up good numbers in those 3 games, it's not going to work. Now, Clemson's going to have a two-headed monster at running back with Kobe Pace and Will Shipley. But they can't just line up and just run the ball and expect this guy to, those 2 guys just to carry them all season. It's not going to work that way. You can be run dominant, but Uyunglele is going to have to make some throws. Can't be hitting cheerleaders in the back of the head. Can't do it. So we'll see. Jay says, luckily Clemson has cupcakes starting out before Wake Forest. But, sir, Wake Forest is ranked in the top 25. They're ranked ahead of every team in the SEC East, with the exception of Georgia. Wake Forest would beat every team in the East with the exception of Georgia. How about that? Put that on the bookcase of accountability. Oh, my bad. Oh, let me answer the phone here. Welcome to the program. Good afternoon.
Hey, Rob, this is the Biscuit. How are you doing, man?
Hey, Biscuit, how are you?
Hey, before you left today, I just wanted to make sure you got my upset pick. My upset pick is Alabama is going to roll into Neyland and beat Tennessee. I mean, Tennessee has got the greatest offense in the history of the world. So, I mean, that is a huge upset.
I don't know how that Heisman Trophy winning quarterback from Alabama is going to go in there and just fare. I don't know. I mean, you're probably right about
against that defense. I don't know how he's going to get a pass off.
That's a good point.
I mean, everybody. It's just kind of funny how they keep coming up in the news. I mean, just everybody is just all over this. It's one of those things in college football where you actually have to do it before I'll believe it. It's kind of like beating, Tennessee beating Florida. They have to do it before I'll believe they can do it, even if they're favored and whatever. I've seen too many situations. I was in this boat in the 90s. I mean,
did you feel the same way about Georgia last year with Kirby Smart?
What do you mean, like not being able to beat Bama? You mean, or
not being able to roll through and actually win the big game? Did you have the same mentality with him?
Yeah, certainly. I was nervous all the way through that championship game. I mean, until Ringo got into the end zone, man. I was nervous, especially late in that game when it was just they had completely taken control of the game and they were only up 8 though. That really made me nervous. But there's a certain level of relief after having done it, and now it's just doing it again, right? I mean, it's now that monkey's off our back. But I keep getting Tennessee fans now. Understand this. Georgia, obviously, they keep bringing up the fact that now it took 40 years to win a national championship. But what they keep forgetting is that Georgia now in 41 years has 2 national titles. Tennessee has one in 1998, and I think we talked about this a week or 2 ago. And they claim one in 1967. So that's 2 in 50.
Wasn't that back in the days where if a newspaper declared you national champion, you were national champion? So it could have been like the Tennessee Volhor Weekly. We're the national champion.
Here's the funny part about that. You know what? So what the rule that the University of Georgia uses for national championships is they have 3, right? They do have one in 1942, which, anytime you go way back in time, it's like, who knows? But the rule set that Georgia uses is you have to have over half of the polls have to vote you number 1. So Georgia at least used some level of criteria. The 1967 national championship that Tennessee claims, 1 poll voted them number 1, the Litkin House. And then they went on and they lost in their bowl game. So now Tennessee moves forward 20 years and goes, you know what? We were the number 1 team. I don't understand how that works.
Where is the Litkin House? Is it in Knoxville?
I don't know. We should do some research. We should actually,
I kind of want to look that up now.
Maybe we do it in the off season. Do it in the off season where we pick a year where there's ridiculous claims of national champions by multiple teams, and we actually do research and figure out really who truly deserves that national championship that year. Because my thinking is
That's a hell of a
Because
show.
my thinking is that the year that this is a different year. The year that Tennessee lost to Maryland and finished 10-1, and Maryland finished 11-0.
Yeah.
They probably didn't win the national championship that year. I mean, I know I'm being hypercritical there, but usually you win your bowl game or beat the team that's that's the biggest challenger in the year. So
right.
yeah,
Well,
I'm not
it's like, and
understanding
then
that.
you'll end up having, and in some years, like what was it? Was it like, what was it? The year Georgia Tech won the national title, they split it with Washington. We can look at that too and try to determine.
Colorado.
Oh, was it Colorado? Good point. Yeah, but yeah, just go back and look at some years like that, because I know there were some papers, and who was it? Sir Uga's on there with that too, that said, hey, Alabama has more national titles than they actually have. I mean, it's
Alabama has a
Alabama's
few
really
of those
bad about that.
interesting ones.
I
There's
think they got
one
at least
that
3.
they claim that's like they were ranked 19th in the country and have 2 losses, and then one poll gave them the national championship, and they claim it. I mean, they don't have as many. I mean, there's some fans that jump on here and go, Alabama claimed half their national championships are fake. They're actually not. I mean, I think there's like 3 or 4 that are kind of a little sketchy.
I looked at it in passing one time. It's 3 national titles. I couldn't, like, maybe it's because I don't, see Tennessee as having a whole bunch of titles anyway, but now
Right.
I got to look back at this 1967 one. And you know what? I keep a file where I call it just evergreen stuff that I can use whenever.
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to, once the season's over, we're going to dive into that, and we're going to expose some liars, and we'll see who's actually
they
lying
claim
with their
6, and they
national
have
title stuff.
legitimately 3. They have 3. So I mean, they're quick to point out whenever it gets brought up. Georgia won a national championship. They're like, well, when you get to 6, well, if Georgia claimed like Tennessee claimed, we'd have 6 too. There's other years where Georgia was declared the national championship by the Lichten House and some other polls, but we don't take it.
Well, what's wrong
and
with Bulldog?
Georgia doesn't claim any where they lost their bowl game. I mean, that's ridiculous.
Well, the problem is that Bulldog Shit Whore Weekly is not voting them number 1. You and Jay, who are the number 1 subscribers for that thing, should write them and be like, why didn't you vote them number 1? You could claim 4 or 5 titles and no one would say anything.
I do op-eds for that.
Of course you do.
I do op-eds for that paper.
Of course you do. Shit. All right. Well, anything else, Biscuit?
No, I think I've done enough bashing for today.
All right.
Thanks.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you so much. All right. You guys are awesome over there in the chat room as always. And you guys are great. Be sure to enter the Pick'em Challenge. Still calling out Peg and Megan, who's got a job and everything, and he can't spend time with us. I understand that. Make sure that he gets his picks in. Guaranteed bottom third. Guaranteed bottom third. That's where he's going to finish. Hope the rest of you can get into it. Sir Uga Twisted Chicken. It's $20. Go and go to grandma's house. Look in her couch. Go dig up the mayonnaise jar if you're an Alabama fan. Get $20 and send it to Carolina Jackpot. The link is in the description. All right? There you go. Appreciate you guys. We'll see you later on.